I'd like to call the December 10th meeting of the Edison Library Board to order. Let the minutes reflect that it is 7:00 PM. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. As required by the Open Public Meetings Act of 1975, adequate notice of this scheduled meeting has been provided to the public by notices given to the Home News Tribune, Star Ledger, and Sentinel, posted on the library bulletin boards and website, and given to the Township Clerk's office. Roll call, please.
Ms. Mead? Yes. Ms. O'Neill?
Present.
Ms. Pam?
Here.
Ms. Kraus?
Here.
Mr. DePasquale? Here. Mr. Patel?
Excused absence.
Mr. Romano?
Here.
Ms. Leary?
Here.
And Ms. Massey?
Here. All right, we've got a quorum. Hopefully, everyone has had an opportunity to review the November 12th, 2024 minutes from the regular session. Are there any questions or comments? All right, hearing none, the minutes of November 12th, 2024 are approved by unanimous consent.
I'm
And
sorry,
I'll-
I just have to abstain from that because I wasn't present.
Thanks, thank you. Okay, and hopefully everyone had an opportunity to review the minutes from the special meeting on November 21st. Any questions or comments about that meeting or those minutes? All right, then hearing none, those minutes of November 21st, 2024 are approved by unanimous consent. Okay, you probably have already, heard that the governor signed the Freedom to Read bill yesterday at Princeton Public Library. It's exciting that that has happened, especially since Edison Public Library did decide to endorse, now I can't even think of what it is.
Sanctuary City.
Thank you.
Sanctuary Library.
Book sanctuary, so we are a book sanctuary. The 2024 Virtual Trustees Institute was held on Saturday, November 16th. It really was very good, and the recording will be shared. There was only one session that was like a little questionable. It is going to be shared with all the New Jersey Library Trustee Association members and posted on their website in case you were unable to attend or want to listen to a session again. The sessions on artificial intelligence, AI, and sustainability were particularly intriguing, and I know that Alan mentioned AI in his report. Really very, very interesting. And if you didn't have a chance to catch that, she shared a lot of different tips on how to use them. And the session on capital planning was a good reminder that every library needs to have a capital plan. I do want to remind everybody that the second round of the bids for the North Construction Bond project are to be opened next week on December 17th. Hopefully, we will be able to award a bid at a meeting on December 23rd. And I attended the Friends Bake Sale, the pop-up bake sale, on November 23rd, and that was really excellent. I was able to purchase some really nice treats. I also attended the Human Relations Commission meeting on Zoom on December 3rd and gave some announcements, some updates on the library, and shared that the Friends were meeting on December 4th. So that is it for my report. Now let's move on to the financial reports. Hopefully you had an opportunity to review the financial reports. Are there any questions on them, not on the bill list, but on the financial reports? Any questions or comments on those? All right, let's move to the bill list. Are there any questions or comments on the bill list?
I have one question.
Yes.
I know we have one general bill list, on everything, but I know we have the different bank accounts. We have the construction bond bank account. We also have, the main renovation is a separate account. And we have one thing. How is that being handled? Is it being reimbursed from one account to the other and transferred, or are you paying separately?
Yes. Yes, the checking account is the operating account. So when we've not actually utilized and moved too much of the money from the capital. As you could see, if you go to the first page, the main library capital account is now like 1.796, and we started a little bit over 2. So we're now starting to use that from the main library. We transfer that over.
To
and
pay
then
the
that-
architects and everything like that and
Yeah,
all that?
we've been able to utilize some of the operating funds to not have to use the capital. But
But wasn't
we'll-
that the purpose of the capital?
Yes, but we're saving the capital because there's a lot of stuff that needs to be
That
done.
probably isn't on the original
Yeah,
listing.
and also, well, we have, part of the things for the capital plan are really the main library. So we're trying to make sure that we have enough for that. It's not really the change orders. It's really about the other things such as the furniture, the new return system that has to be put in, those kind of things. So from here on now, we will be transferring money as we do the payroll. So I believe, for example, we have a bill on the bill list here from the contractor for, I think, about 400 and something thousand. So we'll be transferring that tomorrow so that it shows up in the operating. We'll also be bringing to the Finance Committee, hopefully next week, some proposals as we move forward for the 2025 budget, the capital, and any transfers that we need to make before the end of the year.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions or comments on the bill list? All right, hearing none, do we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
All right, do we have a second? Second. All right, roll call. Vote, please.
Ms. Mead,
Yes.
Ms. O'Neill,
Yes.
Ms. Pam,
Yes.
Ms. Kraus,
Yes.
Mr. Di Pasquale,
Yes.
Mr. Romano,
Yes.
Ms. Leary,
Yes.
and Ms. Massey.
Yes,
Motion carries.
thank you. All right, then we did receive the draft of the 2023 audit report.
I'm going to hopefully, I know we have a lot on the agenda for the 23rd. I'm going to try to see if I can get Bob or one of the other folks in the firm to come and make the presentation to the board. What he has discussed with me basically is that the audit itself is pretty clean, but now that we have Christopher, he would like us to be doing things a different way moving forward. So you'll see a slightly different with once we close out the books for 2024. There's much more that they want to have. For example, all the bank accounts linked in Edmonds, which we were only using the operating, those kind of things. They're really housekeeping things. Other than that, the audit's been pretty good. With, as you saw, there's basically only 2 recommendations in here. And so one was in the general ledger that he wants to make sure we're keeping track of things, pluses and minuses. instead of the way we were doing it now. And I can't remember the other one, but it was really very minor. We also have talked to him about he would like us to have a more substantial financial manual that basically just runs through all our financial procedures, how we do everything. We have one, but it's a few years old. And so now that we have a full-time person doing it, a lot of things are different. For example, Amanda's not going to the bank anymore, for example. So those kind of things we need to adjust. I'll see, hopefully Bob will be there, but he would like the board to look at this. If they don't see anything, they will publish it, the final draft. So the final, I guess, the final. So that's why I've given you the draft, and then they give you that bound copy that we then use for our records, and we send to the township, and we send to the state. I'll see if he can come on the 23rd. If not, then he would come for the reorg meeting, the first meeting in January.
All right, thank you.
Quick,
Yes.
not really a question, more of a clarification. You were saying now that
Lisa,
we
I'm
have-
sorry, I can't hear you.
Oh, sorry, is this working? Okay. Just more of a clarification than a question. You were saying at the beginning, now that we have Christopher, can you please clarify, because most people do not know who Christopher is.
Yes,
You know, don't just say he or give a first name.
Christopher is our, what title did we give him? Operations manager for the business finance operations manager. And so he parallels what Amanda does. Amanda's basically working with the HR part, the payroll, and he's working on the finance piece. So they basically do work hand in hand. But Amanda operates, since she was doing Edmonds, she can fill in if he's on vacation or whatever, and he's going to start to learn how to do payroll. So we have redundancy for 2 staff members. I can, of course, do Edmonds, and Deborah can do payroll. So we have redundancy in the office. So I believe we had Christopher come to the October meeting to meet the board. Anyone who want to look at the meeting online, you can take a look at Christopher and be able to see him. Thanks, Lisa.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments? All right, then I think we can move right on to your report.
Ms. Massey already mentioned yesterday was a big banner day for libraries with Governor Murphy signing the Freedom to Read Act. We'll put this up on the packet. I gave out, this is the press release from the governor's office, which outlines the Freedom to Read Act. And it really does not, it really reinforces what we're already doing. We already have a strong collection development policy and reconsideration policy. And we think that really does help us provide a good balanced collection for the township of Edison. So we'll know more over the course of the next year. This doesn't go into effect immediately, but there's some regs that have to be adopted once a law is done. So that will probably take several months. Okay, let me go through this list. That helps me keep focused, which would be fine if it decides to separate. There we go. There we go. And not in any particular order. Ms. Massey already mentioned the North Edison branch. We hope that the bids come in on the 17th and we can have the board approve the RFP on the 23rd. We are still looking for alternative sites for the branch, and we'll be looking at some, at this point, perhaps some space on Oak Tree Road. We'll know more next week. Banner Day for the main library, top floor, we are getting very close. Carpeting was started to be laid today. So about 1/5 of the top floor has been done. And they're we working, all the carpeting should be in by Friday. And we have the final punch list for things that were on the base bid next week on Tuesday, which means we can start to move things from the first floor and things in the garage and get our storage and our shelving back to get the upper floor up and moving. Nothing really new in the Clara Barton branch for this month. Nothing new with the bookmobile. We're working on our spring schedule. We're looking at doing more lobby stops, which we've not done, which is basically bring the library into a facility for an hour or two instead of actually doing the bus outside to engage people where they live. Because many people, particularly when it's not great weather, don't want to come out. So that was the whole idea in having the Sprinter, so that we can get the carts that could be wheeled out and brought into the facilities. We had our second meeting for the logo rebranding. We expect to see some, I think we'll be looking at 3 different options, probably right after the first of the year. The Library Foundation has done a appeals letter. We got some response, but it's the first time we've done it probably in years or if ever. And the foundation is looking at several projects over the next year, including enhancing programming, enhancing technology, enhancing the book collection, and general capital for improvements inside the building. So we'll see how that goes. It's kind of funny and ironic. Mr. McCoy, who is our president, and I think most of the board members know Mr. McCoy as the interim director before I got here, and also is our foundation president, gave a very good talk today to one of the sections of the New Jersey Library Association on foundations. And I'm trying to get him to do a follow-up on that at conference. So a lot of libraries are really interested in foundation and how they can enhance what they are already doing. I think, Pat, you already mentioned the Friends of the Library. We had a great meeting next week. The Friends are really excited and working and also enhancing what we do. And the 1,000 Books Before Kindergarten project will start in February. We thought because January will be closing for part of the main library, we didn't want to start and stop it. So generally that was it. Staff changes. We have 1 library associate.
Yes. Well, that was this month. Or are you
Yes.
talking about Eric?
Yes, since the last meeting, Sherry started.
Oh, yeah. We have 1 new library associate, Sherry Race. So she's still in training, and we've toured the branches. She's doing great. She's very friendly. She has a lot of customer service in her background, Toastmasters, and other things. So hopefully you guys will get to meet her soon. And
I'm sure she's going to come as a holiday party.
yes, we do have a holiday party for the staff and the board on the 20th, which is a Friday. It starts at 6:30.
It's
Six-
anywhere
six-
after we close.
Yeah, we close at 6:50. So, and then just a quick plug, we have a tea blending program this coming Saturday at Clara, where you get to create your own tea, and then there's a tasting little event afterwards. Anything else?
I guess that's it from
Yeah, no,
us.
I did see about this tea blending. It looks very, very interesting. And Deborah, I don't know whether you want to add anything to your report, but I just have to say an overall thank you to all of the staff, because when I read that, it's just, I was going to pick out names, but it's like everybody is working so hard and doing so much. It really is, it's wonderful. So thank you for giving us the update on what everybody is doing.
I mean, I'll echo that. The staff, we've had changes since I've been here, and I would say all in the positive. There's been a big shift and definitely culture change. The new people who have been hired are all interested in customer service and working with our patrons, and are friendly and want to help doing anything they can. And so I could see when I'm out observing what's going on the floor, you could see the definite patron satisfaction change from when I first started. And I was getting complaint letters and emails, 1 or 2 times a week. Those don't happen. In fact, we got a commendation letter from a patron today from one of our staff, which was really, really nice. So we have to share it with him. So, yeah.
Oh, that would be nice to share. Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Yeah,
We just got it today, so I
that's
want
excellent.
to put it in his personnel file. Are there any other questions?
Yeah,
I
any
didn't?
other questions? Okay,
If not, thank you.
all right, then we can move to committee reports. The only meeting that we have had, and more than one, is the personnel. So,
Yeah, Personnel Committee's we've been meeting so we can get through the union negotiations, which is still plugging along, a little slower than we might have liked, but hopefully we are making a little bit of progress, and we'll see how it goes at the next meeting.
right, exactly. All right, do we have any unfinished business? The only thing that we have listed is the shared services agreement. And I think, as we said, there is nothing has happened with a shared services agreement. The only thing that I can share is at the Trustee Institute, there was a session on shared services agreements, and it is perfectly clear that there are many approaches, The recommendation is that you do have a written shared service agreement, but I think I've mentioned it before. If you ask 10 different municipalities what they do, you might get 5 different answers. So we don't have anything to report on the shared services agreement. We do have new business. We do need to have a motion to approve, a motion to hold a board meeting to cover matters on December 23rd, 2024.
So moved.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
Second.
All right. Any questions or comments? All right, could we have a,
All right.
Yes,
quick
please.
question. If,
I have a council meeting that night, but, so I will not be able to attend, but I'll get filled in by Amanda.
Yeah, I am very sorry that you're not going to, but you can't be in 2 places at one time. And we are hoping that there are a few end-of-year things to wrap up, including awarding a bid for the North Edison project, hopefully, fingers crossed. Yes, Kat?
I guess on a similar note, my concern was that if the bids do come in, if we have to reject the round of bids again, will this meeting still be taking place? I just want to confirm that.
Yes, I think because we have a whole bunch of things, including we're hopeful that we may have a contract for the library board to approve. So, which is why I think we'll have a whole bunch of things, and we might have the 2025 budget on it and the 2025 capital budget. So yeah, it's like a whole meeting. But hopefully it won't be too long.
Thank you.
Right, thank you. Yeah, good question. All right, roll call vote, please.
Miss Mead,
Yes.
Miss O'Neill,
Yes.
Miss Pam,
Yes.
Miss Kraus,
Yes.
Mr. Di Pasquale. Yes. Mr. Patel is absent. Mr. Romano,
Yes.
Miss Leary,
Yes.
and Miss Massey.
Yes.
Motion carries.
All right, thank you. Then, let's see. We have a resolution. Actually, we have two resolutions for the Edison Public Library to be enrolled in the New Jersey State Disability Plan effective January 1st, 2025. Now, I can read these right? I'll read these resolutions.
Let me see which one's first.
Yeah, please, so that you have a better idea of why this is necessary. Okay. So we have, whereas the library sought to participate in the State of New Jersey Disability Insurance Benefits Program administered through the New Jersey Department of Labor as to provide temporary disability coverage benefits for library employees. And whereas the library contracted with Paychex to enroll in the state disability program. And whereas the library has learned that enrollment in the state disability program was not perfected, and whereas the Department of Labor has confirmed that the library may become a participating employer as of January 1st, 2025, by way of resolution by the Library Board of Trustees. And whereas the library desires to participate in the state disability program so as to provide temporary disability coverages benefits for library employees. Now, therefore, be it resolved as follows. The Library Board of Trustees confirms that it desires to participate in the State of New Jersey Disability Insurance Benefits Program administered through the New Jersey Department of Labor. The Library Board of Trustees authorizes the library director or his designee to perfect the application for participation in the state disability program with the Department of Labor and to provide a copy of this resolution and any other documentation required by the Department of Labor in order to do so. Okay, so here is the resolution. Are there any questions or comments about this resolution? Okay, hearing none. Could we have a roll call vote, please? Well, no, let's first we have the resolution. Let's have a motion.
Is that before we were not in this?
Well, that's why I thought there might be a question. I believe, and maybe Alan can explain, but it was, we went with Paychex, and you can explain.
What we were told was Paychex has been sending the money to the state, but they did not validate our account. The money is in our account and waiting for us to validate it. So, of course, they never told us we had to validate it with a board resolution. And so it's been sitting there until we started to do some homework on it and found that that was what we had to do. There are two resolutions. I know we shouldn't really talk about
Yeah.
it because we don't have a motion and a second on the floor.
Yeah, so we need a motion to approve this particular resolution.
I'll move to approve this resolution.
Okay, do we have a second?
Second.
Did you second? Okay, Kat, thank you. All right, do we have any questions or comments about this resolution?
Can I ask?
Yes, please.
This is for the library
Yes.
associates only?
I'm sorry.
Is this for the library associates only?
No, it's for all staff. All staff contribute to
Employees.
the, all of the library's employees contribute to New Jersey SUI.
Okay, and I have a question, but I can't say it. Okay, now, no, it's inappropriate to talk about it unless we go to closed session. So, I am in favor of this, with some reserves.
Yes, okay, yes, Fiona.
So the money that was being contributed, what happens to that money?
I think if you read, we have two choices. If you look at the second resolution, it can stay in our pot, which means if staff go on SUI, the pot is already there, or we can ask for a refund, in which then we would refund that money back to the staff. Dominic, am I correct in that?
Yeah, so taking one resolution at a time, the first resolution is just to get us onto the state program.
Understand.
And because we've already been contributing to the state program, thinking that we were in it, there's a pot of money there. So the second resolution, when we get to that, will be to give the library director the authority to do the appropriate thing with that pot of money, which would either be, or both, leave it with the state so that it would cover, be applied to any expenses, et cetera, contributions that we may need. Or, if for some reason, if there was something that fell through the cracks while we thought we were covered and we weren't, that needed to be resolved with that, we could resolve it with that money. For example, if someone had, applied for the disability and not gotten it, then we could use those funds, because we have them, and it would have been applied to that anyway. We could use those funds to correct any problem that there might be with that. That's what the second resolution is.
So say we leave the money in the pot, they would still have to contribute to disability again going forward.
Yes.
You contributed in every one of your paychecks.
No, I know we contribute every one of our paychecks, but they've contributed and got nothing for it. And
Well, they
weren't
did- no one-
enrolled.
And that's where the second resolution comes in.
Okay.
When you say they contributed and got nothing, that's not necessarily true. They contributed and there were supposed to get coverage, right? So to the extent that there wasn't coverage, there could have been a gap, but and when you're talking about closed session, is whether anybody falls into that pot or not. We don't think that there's anybody that falls into that pot, although there may be, and if there is somebody, then this money would be applied to cover that.
I understand. But what is being very vague is before this date back, we do have an issue.
No. Well, before this back, right, this was being handled through the township. So in other words, before our payroll switched over to the township, payroll would go through the township and the township would handle things like workers' comp and disability, et cetera. This would be handled through the township's disability plan, right? So if someone was disabled before we did this, that would go through the township's disability. Now, even while we were doing this, there were people who were going through the township's disability plan. So that's why I'm saying to you that there may not be anybody who was not covered as a result of this. So to put it in more layman's terms, I'm trying, but let's take it out of the public sector for a second. You're with a private company, you're an employee, you're getting your health insurance paid. Turns out that there's some problem with the health insurance and the insurance company denies a claim. You still paid into that and you should have gotten your claim should not have been denied. So that's what the second resolution is for. In that event, if let's say a claim was denied, we still have this money and it's still there and everybody paid into it. So we would then cover that claim almost like a self-insured so that there's no harm, no foul.
See, I do understand that. I'm just concerned about an issue I can't talk about.
Okay, well, if you would like, if there's an issue that you want to bring up about a particular case in closed, that's appropriate, we could
That's what I'm
go into
saying.
close
Okay.
afterwards. But that doesn't address this.
Thank you.
No, no problem at all.
How long have they been paying into this not being covered? You said it was just during the switchover from the town?
Yes,
So was that-
it was when the, well, and I'm not saying I don't think that they were not covered. They were, what I'm going to say is that they were not covered through the state disability plan. The libraries, through the libraries contracting with the state disability plan. Nobody, to my knowledge, has not received benefits from workers' comp or something like that because of that. So it's, and the pot of money is still there, so we are able to provide the coverage that there was a gap in coverage.
Right, but how long ago was the switchover is my question. That's what I'm just saying. So in other words.
Alan, do
it'd
you
have
know
to
how
be
long?
January of 2023.
Okay, I'm just curious how long it was. That's fine.
So it's been
23,
about
yeah.
a year's worth.
Yeah, okay.
Let them vote on it.
Any other questions or comments?
Joe looks like he wanted to say, no?
You're
No,
you're good?
that's quite all
Okay.
right.
Could we have a roll
We'll talk
call?
later.
Could we have a roll call vote on the, on this current resolution?
Okay. Ms. Mead,
Yes.
Ms. O'Neill,
Yes.
Ms. Pam,
Yes. Yes.
Ms. Kraus,
Yes.
Mr. Di Pasquale,
Yes.
Mr. Romano,
Yes.
Ms. Leary,
Yes.
Ms. Massey,
Yes.
motion carries.
All right, thank you. Then we have the second resolution. Whereas the Library Board of Trustees has taken steps to become a participating employer in the state of New Jersey Disability Insurance Benefits Program administered through the New Jersey Department of Labor of January 1st, 2025, and whereas the Library Board of Trustees has been advised that the library may apply to the Department of Labor for a refund of contributions which were made by the library to the Department of Labor during the period of time when the library was not considered to be a participating employer in the state disability program. Now therefore be it resolved as follows. The Library Board of Trustees authorizes the library director or his designee to apply to the Department of Labor for a refund of any contributions made to the DOL by the library during the period of time when the library was not a participating employer in the state disability program. The Library Board of Trustees further authorizes the library director or his designee to return any funds recovered from the Department of Labor in accordance with paragraph 1 above to the library's operating account and/or to use such funds to rectify shortfalls in employee disability insurance coverage, if any, which may have occurred as a result of the library not being a participating employer in the state disability program during 2024. All right, do we have a motion for this resolution?
So moved.
All right, do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Do we have any questions or comments about this resolution?
How much
Yes.
money is that? Is there an amount that we know of? How much is that?
Alan, do we have an idea of the amount?
But we don't have it on the top of our head. They have told Amanda amount, so it's whatever the contributions were since that first payroll in January. So you're looking at, generally, it's a few dollars for each paycheck. So we're not talking about we're going to get back $10 million, believe me.
Right, right.
I mean, that would, and put that in the bank. I mean, basically, it's, if you look at, from a paycheck point of view, that's the least of anything that comes out in contribution-wise, percentage-wise. So it really is, even if we add the fact that we had the max, we haven't always had 50 staff for 26 payrolls for 2 years. I can't do a guesstimate, but I don't think it's going to be that much.
Okay, just want to know how much, what was it? That's okay. It's a 2% of the usually the.
I'm sorry, Pam.
2% of the paychecks usually goes to the disability, I think.
It's less than 2% usually.
Huh? It is?
1.9%, I think the disability rate is right now.
Yeah.
Can't be much.
Okay, any other questions or
Yeah,
comments?
yeah, so one more question for me. So the money goes back into the paychecks, right, of the employees. What about past employees who contributed? Would they be getting a refund as well?
If the board would like to refund, then everyone would get a refund, yeah.
But that resolution doesn't say that.
No, the resolution doesn't say that. The resolution.
Yeah, the resolution as written would be that the employees have paid into the fund for the coverage. And the coverage has been provided, it's just there was an imperfection in the coverage because the state didn't provide the benefit. So this provides that the library provided the benefit. So the state, the funds would be returned to the library for the use of providing the
For
benefit.
distribution back.
For use almost as a self-insured with respect to any claims that occurred during that period.
So in other words, this isn't nowhere near 1.8 million. It's
No.
it's
No.
a
This is-
nominal amount, but it's not.
This is a nominal amount.
Okay.
Okay, any other questions or comments?
So it's just going back into the operating account?
For use in conjunction with the health benefits, disability benefits.
Thank you.
All right, if there are no other questions or comments, could we have a roll call vote, please?
Sure. Ms. Mead,
Yeah.
Ms. O'Neill,
Yes.
Ms. Pam,
Yes.
Ms. Kraus,
Yes.
Mr. DiPasquale,
Yes.
Mr. Romano,
Yes.
Ms. Leary,
Yes.
Ms. Massey.
Yes.
Motion carries.
All right, thank you. And now we'll move to public comment. If there's any public comment, yes, please.
We're missing one. The
Oh,
meeting
sorry,
schedule.
excuse me. Wait, hold on. I missed one thing. We have the proposed, thank you, good catch. Proposed Board of Trustees meeting schedule for 2025 and 26.
I have a question on that.
Do we have a motion? Do we have a motion to approve that?
Quick question on that. Why is it's moved to the Clara Barton Main Library, not here anymore? We will not be meeting
Well,
in this
that,
year?
I don't know whether we should have a motion and a second before we even. Yeah, we
Yes.
should have a motion and a second, and then we can discuss it.
Right. I think we need to follow Robert's Rules of Order.
Okay.
So moved.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Okay, now, questions and comments. Yes. Alan, do you want to?
Administration is making the proposal that it would be more beneficial for the library board and the library to have the meetings at the branches. As we could see, even by the last special meeting that we had, someone from the community who wanted to address the board was able to come because we were in her neighborhood. I think this shows visibility to the community and also to the staff. I think it also gives an opportunity for the board to see the happenings in the branches if they don't necessarily have a chance to visit each one of the branches on a regular basis. And obviously for next year, since North will probably be closed, we hope, keeping our fingers crossed, it is scheduled for Maine and Clara. This is just my suggestion. If the board would want, we can come back here to council chambers. But if you even recall when we had our consultants, Alan and Leslie Berger, one of their recommendations was that the board should be meeting at the branches. similar to, and they weren't even thinking about the Board of Ed, but I think it's a good morale booster for the staff too, to see the board, and for them, if they want to come and attend part of the board meeting so they feel more involved in what's happening. So this is my recommendation. It doesn't have to be voted on tonight. I can go, if you want me to go back to the regular schedule meeting here, tomorrow I will confirm with Cheryl what dates we have, and we can vote on it at the meeting on the 23rd.
I have a question. Are we going to be able to record the meetings if we're at the library? Because I know people do look forward to watching them on the, Channel 15.
Yes, actually, I mean, we've been recording, everything's been recorded in any time that we meet in the branch. We're actually also, we had a discussion today about, which we think we would get better quality instead of using the OWL. In fact, if we did regular streaming and streamed it on YouTube, and then we could send that, it seems to be coming out a better copy. And actually, all of our previous meetings that we've recorded have show up on our YouTube channel. They show up on Edison TV, and they also show up as a link on our trustees page. So also the main library, we expect somewhere probably March or April, will have the ability to do a more professional programming. We're looking at doing hybrid programming, starting with the main library. So the long answer is yes.
Pat,
Any other, yes, please.
will all library board members, will the superintendent of schools, will the council members be allowed to attend?
You
Go
mean
ahead,
at-
you can
mean-
answer.
You mean at our branches?
Yeah,
Of course. Well,
you sure now?
of,
Be honest there now, buddy.
how?
Go.
I'm just-
I'm talking to you now, buddy, straight to face.
Well, if you're not available, I would expect that
Are they
Dr. Ed
allowed
would
to
show up.
Are they allowed to show up?
Of course.
Are they going to be abused?
Oh,
Don't have any.
oh, okay.
You want to go there? Let's go there. I'll go there in a heartbeat.
I don't chair the meeting.
No, no, you will,
Well, you're doing a real good sidestep. You want to go again?
I was like flabbergasted at that.
Yeah, well, so was I. So was I at that time.
Are we okay?
Oh, I'm fine. I don't care. Yes on the resolution. Have you heard that? Did you hear that?
Oh, I heard that, but I don't understand it.
Oh, that's right. You couldn't go there. Only me. I was on the hot seat. We'll talk about it later.
all right, let's focus on on the schedule, on the meeting schedule. Yes, please.
So if you don't, you're saying you wouldn't use the OWL system, what would you use, like a Clara Barton?
Well, we're going to start with the OWL until we get our camera set up.
Okay, so you'll have a better,
Oh, yeah.
better equipment
Yeah.
for the Clara Barton and?
Yeah.
Okay, that's,
I have
Yes, please.
a quick question as well. We have alternate dates on here, and it looks like all of them are the week after, except for the January meeting, where the alternate is January 24th, which is a Friday. I was just wondering.
Oh, then that's a typo.
Yeah.
Okay.
It should be, the alternate date is snow, rain, whatever, which I'm used to actually doing in other libraries. That should be the 21st. Oh, I would not be meeting Friday night.
No, that's a very good catch.
I would
Very
not be
good
meeting
catch.
Friday night.
That's a very good catch.
What?
Me neither.
No.
But, I have seen in other libraries, there have been some close occasions here that we've not been able to have a quorum because of a reason. And then this way, people know the alternate dates rather than we don't have a quorum or we have a problem, and then we try to come up with a date that works with everyone. So obviously, if we meet on the original meeting date, we don't have to worry about that next meeting date. It also gives us an opportunity, given some of the construction things we're doing, that if we don't have to then call for a special meeting, it's already been noticed that this will be an alternate meeting date. So it's already in here, and we wouldn't have to go putting legal notices every time we put a special meeting. It gives the board an extra leeway if they need it.
Got it. Thank you.
Yeah, that does make sense. And it does go back to the strategic plan. I do remember that the advice was that we met in the branches so that people had an opportunity to actually visit and to attend. So, do we have any other questions or comments? Okay.
Being abused.
Okay. Hearing none, could we have a roll call vote, please? With the corrected date, right, that the
That's the
January
11th,
24th
21st.
is the January 21st.
Ms. Mead,
Yeah.
Ms. O'Neill,
Yes.
Ms. Pam,
Yes.
Ms. Kraus,
Yes.
Mr. Di Pasquale,
Yes.
Mr. Romano,
Yes.
Ms. Leary,
Yes.
Ms. Massey.
Yes,
Motion carries.
all right. And I do think that we need to vote on the December 23rd meeting, that it is going to be held. Does that make? Did we
We
vote?
already
Did we
did
do that
that.
already? All right, thank you, that's fine. All right, now we're going to move to public comment.
And thank you for being
We have an
patient.
audience.
Yes, thank you for your patience.
Hello. All right, it's on this time. Good evening, everyone. My name is Sarah Nasser, 59 Pleasant Avenue. I'm going to keep my comments brief today. As you can see, we actually have my fellow neighbors here that would also like to speak. I'm here not only as the president of the Friends group, but more so as an Edison resident. First, an update from the Friends. As President Massey mentioned, we held another bake sale in November, another successful bake sale. These fundraisers have been a great way to interact with our library patrons, and we're looking forward to kicking off some new fundraisers in 2025 to do all that we can to support the Edison Library. Secondly, as a resident, I wanted to take a moment to say thank you to this board. As this is the last meeting of the year before we have the reorg in January, I've been attending these meetings for the past year. You guys have been, bearing with me as I say all the awesome things that the library has done for not only me, but for all of our residents here. I've been able to observe firsthand the leadership and support in making Edison Library stronger and better. Perfect example of that is the creation of the Friends group, also the Book Sanctuary. I mean, not how many cities in this country can say that they're a book sanctuary. That is actually a very big deal, rather. Anyway, my conversation here today is to Kat. So as the representative of the mayor, I urge you to keep this momentum going with the way that this board has come together under the leadership of President Massey and Vice President O'Neill, as we consider what we have to do in 2025 and onwards. Let's keep this momentum going. So that is my brief comment for today. I'm going to hand it off to anyone else that would like to speak from Edison.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, Jean Martin, 13 Waltuma Avenue in Edison. I just want to pretty much reiterate what Sarah said. We had so much upset with the Clara Barton Library, and then we started the Friends, and at first, especially in the Clara Barton area, it was all about the Clara Barton branch, but with the help of Miss Massey and Miss O'Neill, the Friends became more than that, and now it's really like all three branches are family. It's not us versus them, or it's become really a pleasure to go to each of the branches and to work to install programs and do fundraising, and we've become really a family among the three branches instead of it just being more of a silo now. And I really do feel that that's in part by President Massey and Vice President O'Neill and Allen, of course. So please, if you could do whatever it takes to keep this going, we really would appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Hi, Maria Orchid, 83 Jefferson. I came here to express thanks for everything that you do for the library. The library enriches all our community. I urge that President Patricia Massey and Vice President Sue O'Neill get reappointed next year. You've been invaluable to this community. And thank you, Alan, for all of your efforts as well.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Kemi Omani, 79 6th Street, Edison, New Jersey. And I support everything they came here to say. And we don't want to run around. We're tired. I've not been here for a while. But because President Massey's part is here, and every of the women and the representative from the school, everyone on board, the Anthony, we just want it this way for now, so that we know what is going on. You've done a tremendous job. We're so proud of you. And we pray, we urge everybody to just let it be this way for now. It will go a long way to sort a lot of problems. And by the way, this is the only board in the community that is actually working. So we're proud of you.
Thank you.
Dr. Nasser, Pleasant Avenue. So I feel like we probably should have scrubbed the walls a little bit before we had this meeting. Everything was going so well, but I feel like some of the negative energy from yesterday rubbed off here a little bit. But in general, I have seen these meetings. They work out very well. I appreciate how President Massey went ahead and brought this meeting back. And so it's really important to have a meeting. I actually wanted to start off with saying happy holidays, but I forgot to do that. So I hope that anyone that celebrates these next few holidays that are coming up, that you have a good time, and also everyone have a good New Year's. So I want to thank you guys for coming here. It's something that you volunteer for, you don't get paid for it, and you're doing a good service for the greater community of Edison. There are a lot of amazing changes that are happening in the libraries, and I look forward to seeing all those things that are happening. It's good for the entire community. I'm also here to go ahead and hope that the mayor will reappoint Vice President Ms. O'Neill and President Pat Massey to continue doing the great work that they have done. In the last year, I've been able to get to know Ms. Massey for lots of times because she's been going to the Friends of the Library meetings, and I know I haven't gone for like the last 3 because I've been very heavily involved in the township. I'm sure everyone's aware of that. And I feel like she's a positive person. She has a presence, and she has also come to some of the council meetings to go ahead and advocate for the library. And I know that she has come to many of the different events that the Friends have sponsored. So it's my humble request that we allow the board to continue its good work. This board seems to work well, and if there are no issues with it, I think we should continue as is. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who would like to speak from the public?
Hello, Krisha Villar, Finical Street. Okay, there we go. Good evening. First, I would like to say thank you all for the work that you do. It is greatly appreciated. I'm speaking here today to support President Massey and Vice President O'Neill's reselection for the next term on the Library Board of Trustees. As I'm sure we all know, libraries are a key location for fostering community and lifelong learning. I have been visiting the Edison Library since I was a child, and I'm now registered as a friend and also vice chair to show my unwavering support for everything the library has done and will continue to do. The diligent work the current president and vice president have done to make Edison Libraries a book sanctuary, facilitate renovations, and revitalize the Friends of the Library is more than enough reason to select them both for another term. As a person of color with many queer friends, the widespread banning of books educating the public about the LGBTQ+ community and other minority groups has been terrifying, to say the least. So it was more than a relief to learn that the Edison Library has been designated a book sanctuary. Ms. Massey and Ms. O'Neill have worked tirelessly to push for this to be the case, supporting the core values of the New Jersey Library Association. By doing so, they advocated for the safety of all Edison residents and ultimately setting an example for the rest of the state, ensuring the right for all patrons to access to accurate information and promoting a well-educated and kind community. And now Governor Murphy has signed the Freedom to Read Act, as we discussed, preventing arbitrary book banning and promoting intellectual freedom in the state of New Jersey. Building maintenance and construction tends to be a sore spot when it comes to municipal matters. Oftentimes, too many cherished community buildings are lost due to lack of funds or general support. However, to avoid this very fate, Ms. Massey and Ms. O'Neill have actively involved themselves in the renovation and construction projects of the main and north branches through the New Jersey Library Construction Bond. By attending countless meetings with the architects, engineers, and other relevant parties, Ms. Massey and Ms. O'Neill ensure that all the right steps will be taken to create more up-to-date and safe facilities beneficial to all patrons. Seeing these spaces evolve shows that our institutions grow with us if we advocate for it on all sides. Ms. Massey and Ms. O'Neill know our town deserves nothing but the best regarding our community centers like libraries, and they actively work to make that goal a reality. After attending some of the library's programs, I enthusiastically signed up to become a friend of the Edison Public Libraries and became one of the vice chairs specifically. Thanks, Sarah. Learning about that opportunity, discovering this new way to be more involved in my local community was exciting. And I have Ms. Massey and Ms. O'Neill to thank for that. They both work with the director and interested patrons to revive our town's Friends of the Library group under this existing foundation. And because of their work, the library now has another means of raising funds to support its needs and the needs of its visitors. Because of their work, people like me who want to give back to the establishments like the library can do so in a way that gets us to meet our neighbors and work together for a common cause. And because of their work, I've met so many kind and intelligent people who share the same passion for reading, learning, and connection. Ms. Massey has done so much in her 10 years in office for the Edison Libraries, and she has so much more to give. Ms. O'Neill has been absolutely pivotal in achieving these accomplishments as well, and I'm so grateful for the work that they have both spearheaded to guarantee that our libraries serve as pivotal places for learning and connection. Their efforts to preserve intellectual freedom, further the development of our facilities, and champion the Friends have left a lasting and valuable mark. To continue making Edison a town of innovation and curiosity for people of all ages, please seriously consider reselecting Ms. Massey and Ms. O'Neill for the next term. Thank you.
Thank you. Oh my, is there anybody else who would like to speak? It's overwhelming that you have come out in support, and we really appreciate it. Obviously, we have nothing to do with our reappointment, but thank you for your kind words. All right. Okay, so we don't need a closed session this evening. And announcements. Our council liaison.
Well, I don't know if anyone's heard about this. There's a little brouhaha that started in council on November 25th, but I know it's flown beneath the radar, so some of you may not have heard about our flag controversy. And, there were plenty last night, believe me.
Are you sure?
It will probably continue into tomorrow night's meeting. We had 3 hours of public comment about the flag situation. The bottom line is that it was a very ill-advised ordinance, and it was basically a hammer looking for a nail, and it's created so much disruption. So we are trying to put the toothpaste back in the tube, as they say. And we have a resolution that is saying, no, in fact, the flag is not banned, and you can bring a constitution, you can bring Bibles, you can bring whatever. The bottom line is, and I've said this all along in my opposition to the ordinance, that this is about the common sense and discretion of the presiding council president. And so that was not used, and I think we got some not so great legal advice about it, but we're in the process of fixing it, and hopefully we can get back in the new year to the business of the council. I wanted to find out from you, Alan, was there any progress in speaking to Liz Hahn about the rehousing of the Edison Art Society exhibits?
We did exchange a email like Friday or Thursday, so we just need to get together to talk. I wanted to wait till we at least can take her upstairs so we can look around, and so that will be next week. But yeah, we've exchanged emails.
That's great. That's great. We had two people in the public comment about the shame of the fact that the Edison Art Society is being moved out of the building. So I did announce that it looks good for the library to be able to house them for at least the time being.
Well, it's really wonderful for us because we've tried over the years to get exhibits in, and we've had a really hard time. So I think working with the Art Society is just going to be a plus for us.
That's great. That's really great. Thank you for that. Finally, first of all, I want to speak about about Lisa Krause, who has given so much to this board and so much to this town. And even though I've only been the liaison here for 2 years, I know how much you have contributed to this community. And you will be very, very much missed here, but you deserve your time away from it. But we cannot thank you. I know I'm speaking on behalf of everybody in thanking you for all you've given to the library board and to the community. I also wanted to cap off what the public has said here in my remarks, and appealing to you, Kat, to talk to your boss about this. I feel so strongly that Pat Massey and Stu O'Neill need to be reappointed and keep their positions. It's the old saying where if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And not only ain't this broke, but it's in good shape. And why, in the midst of everything else that's going on, why change this? They have done so much. Again, what I can see in these 2 years, so much has been contributed that I am appealing to you as the liaison to the administration to keep these two very fine people, very fine members of this board. I am appealing to you to make the strongest case on their behalves. And finally, I want to say to everyone, happy holidays, happy Hanukkah, Merry Christmas, happy Kwanzaa, happy New Year, healthy New Year. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, thank you. And yes, ditto on everything that you said about Lisa. Yeah, definitely. Yes. Kat. Okay. Joe.
I gotta say yes, I gotta say nice things, okay. Come on now, I'm only kidding.
Come on.
The next board meeting of the Edison Board of Education will be on the 12th. We have a groundbreaking, or actually dedication at the John Adams Middle School. It's the new gym and some classrooms. We're doing some renovations to the building, the entrances and exits. then no, a library is in the next project. And the problem, see, first of all, there's projects that are set forth and we're going in a schedule. We had some money that came in every year from the state as state aid. Now, we've used that state aid money at Herbert Hoover, Thomas Jefferson, Woodrow Wilson, John Adams, Lincoln, all done. They're almost finished. And not one tax dollar of the Township of Edison, there was no tax increase. We're talking about in the area of about $60 million. One of my issues, while I sit here and talk about Allen, is that it takes so long planning, making sure everything is right before we start to actually break ground. I've complained to Allen more than once, but the fact is it takes so long to put this stuff together. It's just not like going down to Home Depot and picking up what you need. We have something that's called a switchgear system, and that's the electric system at Edison High School. That switchgear is going to be over $1 million, but we're upgrading it for the next 30 years. Ben Franklin, Lindenau, Washington School, these schools need switchgears for more electric. You've heard people talk about air conditioning. Air conditioning is a great thing. It makes things better, but we need electric. So in other words, when you go home and there's not enough plugs, that's what we're talking about, switch gears. We're talking about funding from the state for new lighting that's less expensive. We're talking about solar panels in some of our facilities now. It will cost nothing, but over the long run, it costs money in the beginning, but over the long run, it saves us money. It saves, let me rephrase, it saves we the people, it saves us money. And remember, whenever we take and do a renovation or a project in any of our schools, it takes months and months of planning before we even break ground. You had a problem last year over at I think it was at J.P. Stevens. Well, the gutters weren't the problem. It was the sewer system that couldn't handle the water. So you see, there's renovations, but we have to take and think about everything. When I talk to you about putting an air conditioning in a system, we have to have the electric. When I talk to you about renovating the system, that's actually the drainage system. There's 1,000 things that go together. So when we talk here at the library board about a bid, we have to make sure that the bid is 100% right. So in other words, we start to do something and we find out there's something else wrong. We can't start and do that. We have to be able to look at it thoroughly, and come up with a plan to do it right the first time. We can't afford to do it again. Now, when we do something, if we borrow money, or we have a pilot program, which is payment in lieu of taxes, or we do something it's called a TIF, tax increment financing, or we bond it. That's where we go out and we bond the issue. The fact of the matter is all three of those are great ways to do things. But if we have a referendum, this is the problem. When we take and ask the public for a referendum on $100 million, 60% comes from the state. 40% comes back to the township. The problems are vast. We make decisions when we have the correct information. That's what takes so long. We had a bid process in this facility right here. The problem with there was a problem with the bid. I got yelled at that we were circumventing the township. We were telling the public, no. What happened was simple. There was an issue. We posted the trouble. We posted the change of date. We posted this, and we got yelled at for it. I asked the public to take and understand and realize that when we do something, we thoroughly look it over. We just don't look as, okay, we'll change this. What it entails when we change this, that's the issue. We have to make sure it's done right, because it's your money that we're using. If I take and tell you it's $10 million, you could bet it's going to be $10 million. And if there's a change order, in the bid process, there's money already there. It's called an alternative. So when a bid comes in and there's two alternatives, they actually tell us the numbers. Now, those numbers, if they come in less, the job gets done for less. We don't just give that money away. We have to do things right for we the people. You see, that's the Constitution. That's the American flag. It's we the people. And we the people are the ones who vote. And we the people that are sitting on this dais, the people in this audience, it's called we the people for one reason and one reason only. We're here to protect. We want to make sure that when we make a motion and we second it, that it's done right. I want the public to know that we don't intend to make mistakes. That's why we have consultants. That's why we have project engineers. That's why we have architects. That's why I sit here and argue with architects over things that some people just don't understand. When I argue at my board meetings, I'm telling you, I know the facts. I know when the public came to me and said, this demographic study, well, I voted against it because there were people that did not respond to the demographic study. I can make competent decisions if the demographic study is done correctly. There was 3 houses off of Woodbridge Avenue. They knocked the 3 houses down and they built 95 apartment-style buildings. Each apartment-style building, according to statistics, gives you 1.5 students. I don't know where you get the 1.5. I have no idea where the 0.5 comes from. So to be perfectly honest, when we do things for a reason. We ask questions. The public has a right to answers. When I sit in my board, I say this: can you please give your name and your contact information to the gentleman that's sitting on the right of the podium so we can get you the correct information. There was a gentleman that got up and spoke about an $819 chair. But the chair was replacing a chair that was 20 years old. So if you take that chair of $819 and divided it by how many years, I think we got a use out of it. But it's our students. And it's our students that use these public libraries. And you're absolutely right. We have a school that does not have a library because there isn't enough room. And if I could fix that, I would. But I can't fix that until the public understands. We're not the enemy. We are the people that are here to make sure that it's done correctly. That's our problem. And when we talk to Alan or we talk to other people, that's really calm compared to when I really talk to them. I want you to understand, yes, in the town, it's called We the People. And yes, that's my flag. And yes, that's my Constitution. And you will not tread on me. Thank you. Patty, thank you for your time.
Thank you very
Ms. O'Neill,
much.
thank you.
Thank you.
And Lisa, we're going to tie you to the chair. Have a real nice night. Happy holidays to all
Yes,
of us.
yes. Any other comments, announcements?
Hopefully I can keep it together. I have served on the board. It's been my honor to serve on this board for 18 years. This is the end of my 18th year. So I'm sure you can understand at this point, I think it's time for me to step aside and make room for a new voice. I've seen this board through a lot. We have weathered financial setbacks. We have weathered financial ups and downs. We've weathered a lot of different mayors, a lot of different people on the board, some with pure intentions, some out for whatever they could get. And now that we're in a good place, I feel very comfortable stepping aside and letting a new voice in. And maybe one day I'll come back. I'm not closing that door, but again, I think it's time. Thank you very much. I truly appreciate, especially all the support everyone has given.
Yeah, we can't thank you enough. We can't thank you enough. Yeah, Lisa, we can't thank you enough for all of the work that you have done. Yeah, it's amazing, just the changes that we've seen in the last 10 years. It's incredible. But I think we all want to wish one another happy holidays and that everybody enjoys the holiday season. I hope that that we're all together on December 20th at the staff party. That would be wonderful. And thank you to all of you for coming out. Yes, yes. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second?
Second.
Oh, thank you.
All right. All those in favor? Aye. All right, this meeting is adjourned at 8:24. Thank you.
I do have one meeting left.